Welcome to NFL Daily, where we are in Oxnard, California, to watch some Dallas Cowboys training camp practice. I'm Gregg Rosenthal, and I am here with my Joy Taylor, with my Jason McIntyre. Chris Babona, our producer, volunteered, really insisted on sitting in the chair next to me for the top of this show, where we're just going to rip through some news. So our YouTube subscribers are in for a treat today. That is how you sold yourself, and you were very pushy about it, that you could be my Joy Taylor, and I'm Colin Coward.
I'm here to serve you some softballs, Greg, so I'll just give some smiles to the camera, ask some good questions.
Okay.
And we'll get through this topper.
I love it. We're going to throw to a segment we did earlier in the studio with my good friends Patrick Claybon and Jourdan Rodrigue. I really love this segment. It's called I Can Fix Him. And we go through different players around the NFL that we think coaches or teams can fix, kind of reclamation type projects. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go through 7 items of news before that, and then we're going to get to the segment. And everything we learned at Cowboys practice, I wanted to give a shout out to, we're going to be putting up as a YouTube exclusive, some takeaways from the practice and a couple of interviews with Cowboys players DeMarvion Overshown and Dante Fowler. It's going to be a really good, in-depth, short view of the Cowboys, so check that out as a YouTube exclusive. Let's get into this, Chris. I just like that this is making our actual producer, Eric, feel very uncomfortable. He didn't really like this idea.
He's like, this is not a good idea, man. But I don't know. I feel like a little like the Wally Pipp moment, you know?
No, you know what we're not looking for? We're not looking. We have a lot of co-hosts. I love your energy. I love your voice on the mic. But Eric is amazing running the shows and making it sound great. Let's start with the 7 news items that you need to know. Number 1, Jordan Love underwent surgery on his injured thumb. It was on his left hand. He actually was able to practice after suffering the injury in the preseason. They went through one practice. They didn't like it. They say he could be back to practice as early as next week. He will not play in the preseason. This is one of those preseason injuries that truly doesn't mean anything. Have you noticed, Chris, now you're kind of into this, that every single injury in training camp, every report is like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, everything's going to be fine. Everything's good for week 1.
And
Don't
Stafford,
worry.
especially, like that has been something you were very early on as like, guys, shouldn't we be worried? And I think now you're just like, you're right at this point.
This is what he's here for, just to tell me I'm right over and over. Stafford, by the way, still not back at practice, so that's a good shout out. I'm not really worried about the Jordan Love thing. A little more worried about the Landon Dickerson injury. The last time we updated the news, we said he was undergoing further tests. It was a knee injury. There's a chance that he will be ready for week 1. The Eagles, great guard, Pro Bowl guard that they identified and really developed. When he first went down with that injury, you were worried he may have to miss much of the season. So the fact that he has a chance to play week 1 is great news. Do you know, Chris, the week 1 opponent of the Philadelphia Eagles?
I do not know, but it must be the Dallas Cowboys.
He figured it out.
It just must be because we're here in Oxnard.
It is. That is the kickoff game. I feel like if you want to have that sort of spot where you're setting up the host, you need to know, working for the NFL, what is the NFL kickoff game. It's like literally the biggest game of the entire year. So that's a knock on you. But yeah, Dickerson got to be back. And that's great news because I was a little worried about their guard position. We got news on Wednesday. James Cook, not only back on the field, he got a new contract from the Buffalo Bills, $30 million guaranteed on a 4-year deal. I think it's a team-friendly deal, 4 for $48, so they didn't break the bank, but he's getting a lot of guaranteed money over the next 2 years. Had a feeling this was coming when he was back at practice on Tuesday, and I really give the Bills a ton of credit for doing things the right way. Here are the recent draft picks, all from Cook's draft class, that they've re-signed to long-term deals. Khalil Shakir, very good slot receiver. Christian Benford, Greg Rousseau, both plus starters at cornerback and edge rusher, very valuable positions. And now James Cook. This is a lesson for the team that we're about to go cover, the Dallas Cowboys. Like, take care of your guys. Get the deals done early. And it's also a lesson in how consistent they have been at drafting. I know there's been ups, there's been downs, but Buffalo overall in the Brandon Beane era has been very good. Compare that, for instance, to the Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah era in Minnesota, where they might not even have their entire 22 draft class by the end of this training camp. The only man left is Ty Chandler on that draft class. Let's go to the Browns. That is the number 4 item of news you need to know on this Wednesday. Shedeur Sanders was announced that he would start this preseason game by Kevin Stefanski if Dylan Gabriel was unable to go. Dylan Gabriel doing a little more work at practice these days, doing some 11-on-11s. The bad news, though, Babona, Shedeur got hurt. An oblique injury at Wednesday's practice, was unable to finish the practice. As we're taping, we don't know how serious this is, but I think my big takeaway here is that all this is nice. We're developing for the future, but Joe Flacco is their starter. He's the one getting all the first-team reps at practice.
No, and I think that Shedeur, obviously, his homecoming, his first game was incredible against the Panthers, but I want to see Gabriel. I want to see him in that environment, see what he could do. If he could play, I would love to see it. And I know Stefanski said he also does want to see both backup quarterbacks in the preseason for sure. But I do think, Flacco for week 1, that's the shot.
Roberts has a huge smile on his face because Brian Schottenheimer is about to start a press conference right behind me. It's all coming together while Babone is giving great analysis there. We'll rip through just a couple more injuries. So the number 5 item you need to know, Trevor Penning, the guard for the Saints, he's going to be out with turf toe, according to Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football, which is a multi-week injury. That's bad news for their offensive line. Mekhi Becton, remember the Eagles didn't want to pay him at guard. It's kind of been quiet there at Chargers camp, but big guy who's struggled with injuries in his career. Where has he been? He's been gone for a couple weeks, so you can combine that, obviously, with the injury to their starting left tackle, Rashawn Slater, and then Najee Harris having a Snapchat photo where his eye was pretty clearly closed. It's been a bad camp for the Chargers. A former Charger, Tyrod Taylor, by the way, out for the rest of training camp. That is the number 7 item that you need to know on this Wednesday.
And that rounds out the list.
This is what he's here for. This is why Babona makes the big bucks. Let's get to our segment, I Can Fix Him, with myself, Patrick, and Jourdan. Back on NFL Daily was about 1 year ago when a segment debuted on this show that changed the game. That segment is called
God.
I Can Fix Him.
I Can Fix Him.
You came up with this segment, Jourdan. We're welcoming Patrick Claybon.
Hey, guys.
Into the studio.
Patrick.
We're in a studio. That was fun when I was back at Cowboys camp. Please explain to me, Jourdan, the genesis and the idea behind I Can Fix Him.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there, right? We've all believed we can fix that person. So when we care about, maybe it's someone we're dating, maybe it's someone in our immediate family or extended family, maybe it's a friend, I can fix that person. I can set them on the right course. In the NFL's case, it is the most I Can Fix Him league of all time when you see coaches take on other coaches' discarded players.
Mm-hmm.
When you see new coaches come in and overhaul systems and overhaul position groups. When you see quarterbacks kind of get their second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe 19th win under them. It's all the epic ego and hubris of the league thinking you can actually be the one to finally fix that person. And girl, sometimes you just can't.
And in a rare example, it's a far better practice the way it's done in the NFL than out in the real world, where people are people, they're unique products, and sometimes going into a relationship seeking to repair a person is not the ideal premise. So it's better in the NFL.
Getting older
healthier, I would say.
Is accepting that you're not gonna change anyone. You can impact them.
Absolutely.
And that's change. And you can help, you can grow together. But there are core fundamentals to a human that I think as you get older, you just accept, if love is just accepting. And so we're going to try to find that love today, Patrick.
Beautiful.
I want you to start. You're the newcomer to I Can Fix Him.
I'm going to start.
So I'm going to go right to you.
In my research of last year's I Can Fix Him.
Wow.
No.
I do see a similar situation where I jumped in, and except I was in that seat and Jourdan was sitting over here. So this is.
Wait, you were on the show.
Yeah, I was on the show.
I don't remember
which
anything.
I will take.
Apologize.
No,
you can't fix me. You can't fix my memory.
I did not remember either.
Okay,
and you have taken part in significantly more.
I'm so glad this segment resonated with people.
It definitely resonated with us. I will start with a relatively new gentleman to the National Football League. That is one Pete Carroll, who has not just come back with Jamal Adams once again, but I do want to throw honorable mentions to Devin White and Jermaine Pratt because the end of the run for Devin White was a little weird, as was Jermaine Pratt. Between those two guys, you've got almost 10,000 snaps of football. But I want to discuss Jamal Adams here because the idea of playing him at linebacker, he was probably abrasive too, even though he's playing in the box. I mean, essentially, you can make the case it's not that much of a move. But to come back from a significant knee injury and then the quad injury in 2022, where a lot of people slept on. It's like, oh, we hear quad strains all the time. It was a complete tear. He told Tyler Dunn when he initially came back, he has a 6-inch scar where they had to go in and the quadriceps, that's why I call quad. There's 4 muscles in there. One was just a significant rupture. So he was down to 3, essentially. And so it's taken him out of time. He played very good in the preseason game. Pete said, he was pulling for him to get back. It's a long haul with a difficult injury. And very Pete-wise, he said, and shoot, I thought he played well.
Oh.
And so I'm rooting for this to work out. And I don't necessarily think it's a fix, but it's finally like these two beings being reunited in a new place. And good luck to the Raiders.
Without the pressure of the trade compensation and even the contract that he had in Seattle.
In an I can fix him league, is Pete Carroll not the most I can fix him coach?
Yep.
Okay.
Honestly?
So he is so much that Patrick and I had the same idea here, and I think that's good. I think that's great. I thought he's the ultimate I can fix him coach. I mean, you think about Geno.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you always are thinking about Geno.
That's true. You think about him just making players believe in themselves in a way that they hadn't before. And the reason I can feel confident saying that, because usually I don't know what to make of that sort of analysis, is just hearing the players talk about it. That has changed their lives, changed their career. Geno is one of them, but he's far from the only one. So many different Seahawks, especially defensive players. So my I can fix him included Jamal Adams. It included Jermaine Pratt, and Landon Roberts, and Devin White. Eric Stokes is a former first-round pick who's at cornerback starting for them. Tyree Wilson is a guy who's already run through 3 head coaches now, right? As a top 10 pick.
I thought Tyree Wilson was the steal of the draft in the top 10.
And that was an awesome top 10. You do feel bad sometimes for players that get drafted surrounded by like all-time greats, right? He was just like, I'd have to go through it to remember exactly, but it was just like hit after hit, and then it was Tyree Wilson. And so that's Pete Carroll. And for me, Pete Carroll, it's the entire defense. It's because defense, much more than offense, I believe, is about cohesion and effort, and it's not all about scheme and belief. It doesn't have to all be about talent, and that's good, Jourdan, because I think if you're just grading defensive talent 1 to 32, the Raiders have to be in the bottom handful of teams, if not the very bottom. I know they have Max Crosby, but other than that, we need an I can fix them season out of Pete Carroll to make this team just competitive and good enough to compete.
Yeah, I have no doubt, and you've seen this too. If you strip away, again, the talent level of the roster in general, and you look more of what Patrick Graham has done scheme-wise, trying to scheme guys
The defensive coordinator
of the Raiders, trying to scheme, like the scheme is smart. He is a very well-respected assistant coach, and I think pairing him with Pete Carroll brings that extra energy, that extra, like he is going to just, if all else fails, he's going to need guys playing hard for him. And Pete Carroll has always been able to manufacture belief in that way to get a defense communicating, to get a defense buying into a shared message. And I think when you combine that with a genuinely very smart scheme that just, you need better players in every phase of that defense, except for one pass rusher spot, then I feel like this is an interesting combination, but it is one where they will have that because Pete Carroll will get that.
And it's always been a testament to Max Crosby that he plays that many snaps, but it's also been because 40% of Max Crosby was better than what the Raiders put on the field.
Right.
And so if they can find some of that depth, and I know it's, of course, like we love Pete and the vibes are always going to be immaculate with Pete, but there is a talent in seeing where the deficits elsewhere in the league are and the ability to utilize talent. And I think Pete is very, very good at that.
Mhm.
Let's hear from Pete Carroll, just because we're talking vibes. The ultimate I can fix him coach.
Well, you get after him first off, like we did, and then we have to make sure that we work together. Like I said, a bunch of those were the young guys, and we were still hard counting and doing all of the intricacies of our cadence. We didn't jive together. We have to mix better and make sure that we take care of those guys, know who you're working. And we worked ourselves instead of working the defense today.
That was
I love that.
that was like him being hard on the team, but even when he's being hard on the team,
I'm smiling.
there's just
still,
like
yeah.
he makes you feel better about it. Yeah, I don't want to do a Pete Carroll impression. I kind of do want to do a Pete Carroll.
Do it,
but
Greg.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
going
you
to.
really want to do a Pete
We'll
Carroll
do it
impression.
later in the show. All right, give me another I can fix him.
Okay, my first I can fix him is more of a third person.
Oh,
Jalen Ramsey, I think, can fix elements of the Steelers, and
Ooh.
I think that the Steelers can fix elements of Jalen Ramsey.
Love that.
Okay, so every few years, Jalen Ramsey seems to want or need a change of scenery, whether it's because of a contract situation, as it was the last couple of times, or it's just not working out with the team that he was on. He went from Jacksonville to Los Angeles, where he won a Super Bowl, to Miami. Now he's in Pittsburgh. So I think that this is a mutual, I can fix him situation, because it's a really good change of scenery for Jalen, who, in interviewing him a few years ago, we talked a lot about he needs a challenge. He needs to be challenged in order to continue to push himself. His biggest competitor is inside his own head, and to continue to find new jobs, new roles, new things that he can do to sort of push the envelope and be a tone setter. And so he will be that tone setter in this defense as that hybrid safety corner who they want to seem to keep on the field, not only to help them with rundowns and be really physical in the box and in the slot and sort of an unavoidable player in the middle of the field against power slots, against tight ends, but then also drop back into a safety role like we're seeing with a lot of these emerging more hybrid players. Jalen Ramsey can still very much do that. I also think it's good for the Steelers.
Yes.
This isn't a mutual, I can fix him, because that defense does need to evolve a little bit. And this position specifically, moving this position forward, not just in run support, but also in pass coverage, is a next step, a next iteration of what the league is doing right now on offense. And the Steelers need to do that on defense. And I think it is a very tone setting physical position that he'll be in. And that's really, really good for this defense.
yeah. There's obviously the cost in subtracting Minka to add in Jalen Ramsey. Clearly, most people would believe, as I think we do, the Steelers' ultimate form would have been to have them both there. They couldn't make that work trade compensation-wise, and so you end up with one and the other. And I do think things had maybe gotten a little stagnant in terms of the way that they approach things with having the personnel and Minka back there, that you can just do things differently with Jalen Ramsey, and they haven't necessarily had the results. So, yeah, you throw Jalen Ramsey out there, and considering the division and the tasks, right? Like having to make split decisions with reads against the Ravens to Mike Gesicki and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different places where a guy in that, like, say, like a star hybrid position can be in. Yeah, you take one of the better players at that in the NFL, it makes it work.
And I want to see a little more creativity from Mike Tomlin. I think it's a fair criticism that he's been doing what he does, and they don't necessarily always deviate from that. And maybe Jalen Ramsey helps to reignite the creativity when you just get two really smart ball knowers in the same building. And then you sprinkle on just like a healthy amount of crazy with Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. Like that's a fun mix. Deshaun Elliott's a little crazy. And it's a like.
Okay, think about who they're going against too. His number one NFC West rival when he was playing in the NFC West, DK Metcalf. He'll be going against him in practice. And then also Aaron Rodgers is the one throwing the ball. So like there's a lot going on in Pittsburgh, but I think that somehow And truly, I mean this earnestly, Jalen Ramsey is the absolute perfect fit for what's going on there right now in Pittsburgh.
I love that. I just want this team, which has not won a playoff game since 2016 or something crazy. I was at the game that started the streak, the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. Like, let's get Mike Tomlin winning playoff games again. I think he could do it if that secondary comes through. I'm gonna go with their quarterback from a year ago, Justin Fields. Now with the New York Jets, let's just bring him to a team that wants to focus on what he does well. I think there's this idea with quarterbacks that are great at running that you almost want to diminish that skill set, not just as a coach, but as an analyst. Like, oh yeah, it's great, but like, Justin Fields also throws a really pretty pass down the field. Like, yeah, we know. Like, he's very accurate. Is he as like instinctive in advance, getting through his reads and everything else that comes along with position, similar to a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who I was thinking about throwing in here? Maybe we'd have a minor conversation. Maybe that's not his greatest strength at this point of his career. So let's lean into what he does well and build the whole thing out of Justin Fields' strength and our team strength, which is the offensive line. Here's Aaron Glenn after their preseason opener.
I thought Justin got the guys in and out the huddle. I thought Tanner did a really good job getting the play calls in so the guys could play with tempo and play fast. It was good to see Justin use his legs also. All right, so we know he has that in his bag. The thing that I think he showed for the most part is, man, we can call a play, we have a shot, and if the shot's not there, he can get it chunk it down. All right, and he did a really good job of that. So he was patient. He did everything that we needed, all right, to get this win, and for him to be the quarterback that we know that he can be. So.
I love how he's talking about him.
He's got a little Pete Carroll in him,
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn. I think they have similar strengths, and I
Gosh,
think they're
can
going to build him up.
Can you just imagine being Justin Fields and like someone's talking about you at the lectern that way and not asking you to be anything you're not, and in fact accentuating what you're good at, recognizing things that you can do that they are asking you to do, and to play to some significant strengths that you do have with the team that is dynamically built to help accentuate that. And like, you can hear in his voice him saying this with belief and conviction in the quarterback. Like, that's an I can fix him moment right there.
Some of the best running quarterbacks of all time, to me, started their careers, and maybe even when they were peaking, a lot of it really was deep shots, the run game, check downs, having a good offensive line, having a good running game that is built in large part around the strengths of them running, and not trying to do too much more. I think of the Steve McNair Titans at their peak, and like that was part of their equation. So as one of the last people that still believes that Justin Fields can be fixed, Patrick, you have to be thrilled with this.
Yes. I don't know necessarily that there's a fix. That's like, at a certain point, we've seen how explosive Justin Fields can be and the way he can contribute to wins. But he hasn't been able to get that level of long-term commitment, right, in a few different spots. And you can go all the way back to the first rookie wage scale, where you saw how teams were incentivized to kind of take that middle-late career player and kind of toss them to the side in favor of cheaper rookies, because that's the way things are. And so in a lot of these situations that we were discussing, they're these players who were 26, 27, 28 years old, and perhaps their opportunities kind of get a little bit limited just because there's a cheaper option that's out there. And so I think Justin Fields will be fine, right? In terms of like how he can play. But to hear that, like, especially when your career can be in this sort of limbo, it's got to be good for him to hear. And hopefully things go well, I believe.
All right, we've gone around the room one time. We're going to do it again, at least one more. But at this point in the show, I did want to mention the people that we fixed last year, because I think, at least in terms of projecting who could be, quote unquote, fixed, we did a pretty good job. We had Dave Canales fixing Bryce Young.
Nice.
I think that was yours. We had Kellen Moore fixing the Eagles. I didn't know they really needed to be fixed, but you think about what was happening a year ago at this time in the season that they were coming off.
Wow.
That worked out pretty well.
Especially for Kellen Moore.
And we had a few others that were fine. Tony Pollard was one of them. That was, he had a good season.
Yeah.
Was that yours?
A few others that were fine. I don't know
Was Kellen Moore yours?
whose was who. I don't know whose was who. Clint Kubiak was involved. That one did not really.
Oh boy. Hey.
Maybe this time.
I think you might have gone Calvin Ridley, which wasn't bad or good. But I also wanted to think about how this league runs. That there are these guys that just like keep getting passed around a little bit as I can fix them candidates. I would call them the I can fix them all-stars. So I'm just going to name some of them now. Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Marcus Mariota. It's a little early for the Music Man because these are, unfortunately, they're still getting passed around. Devin White may be in there. Sam Darnold, I think he'd be an I can fix them all-star.
You've done that man dirty all week.
Kyle Pitts is kind of becoming one of those guys. Jeff Okudah has become one of those guys. And then I would like to make an announcement on this show.
Oh.
And with this music cranked up even louder, that Baker Mayfield has officially graduated from I Can Fix Him. He's fixed.
What if now Baker is the one doing the fixing?
He's fixing coaching careers.
Yeah, can we get Josh McDaniels down to Tampa Bay? He'll be the head coach somewhere.
Congratulations, Baker.
I'm so happy.
You cannot be. Yeah, you can't be.
He can't be fixed anymore?
He's fixed. It's happened. Isaiah Simmons, maybe the ultimate all-star here, but Baker Mayfield.
I've never heard the second verse of this song.
The timpani crescendo here.
It's like really getting after it.
You did it, buddy. All right, let's go around the room again. We'll start with Patrick.
Yeah, and I'll go right across the street because back in April, the Chargers, not a lot of news, fanfare. Hey, they signed Trey Lance. Well, why not? Why not sign Trey Lance, give him an opportunity? And we haven't seen a lot of Taylor Heineke. It has been all Trey Lance in the preseason through 2 starts, and Harbaugh was crediting him. The passing numbers were a little bit down in the Chargers' second game, but he used his legs well. Harbaugh loved that. Said he thought he had a heck of a game. And yeah, we are Greg Roman and Harbaugh away from fixing Trey Lance and giving him an opportunity.
Hey, I saw some Taylor Heineke live. It didn't last that long, and it was unsightly. And they were like, give us some Trey Lance because we want to get our guys some better looks. And the second Trey Lance came in, the passing game didn't exactly explode, but at least Trey Lance brought him right down the field on a touchdown drive using his legs, using his strengths, and hitting a nice 2-point conversion, too, on a slant.
Last week when I was at Chargers camp or was it last week? It was sometime this summer. And I saw Trey Lance and Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh all standing together, and they were sort of just like moving as one entity around the practice field together. So it was like, Trey Lance was absorbing everything that Justin Herbert was receiving from Jim Harbaugh by a sort of spatial osmosis, I guess. And so it was really interesting to see him he wants to clearly be a sponge and soak up the teaching that the number one quarterback is getting, or the collaboration communication that they have with each other. Jim Harbaugh, another belief guy. So,
right. There's a lot of similarities on the players and the teams that we're choosing. And you can just see by his play on the field, without knowing anything about Trey Lance, that he's like more comfortable and more confident, I think, in being a pro quarterback. I think he's going to carve out a career.
Speaking of which.
Okay,
this is my personal I Can Fix You to a certain group.
I Can Fix Him. We don't have the rights to Fix You by Coldplay. They've, a lot of publicity lately. They've
taken off.
They've really started to make something of themselves.
They've made it. We can't afford it. So I Can Fix Him.
Okay, I can fix, but this is a group of people. I Can Fix You, Bryce Young haters. I really, really can.
You're going to do it.
I was clocking all the short jokes and actually filing them away for use on Gregg at a later date. I was clocking all the pain and all of the frustration that this was your starting quarterback, the guy that the franchise is pouring all of these resources into. Bryce Young haters, I Can Fix You. Bask in the training camp reports of Bryce Young throwing the ball around well. Revel in the anticipatory throws, the confidence and comfort, whether throwing on time or working a little out of structure to create plays. And this I loved the most. We have a clip of Bryce Young with an anticipation throw, and it is lightning fast. And it's an anticipation throw, and Tet does a double move, off of the line of scrimmage and into the end zone, and he can't get his head around quite fast enough because the throw is with such anticipation. He recognizes that. He gives Bryce Young a thumbs up. But this throw, the speed at which it comes out, it's tailor-made for building that chemistry between the two of them that will continue as time passes, as they both get their feet under them together. And I just love this type of throw. This is the type of really quick option play and really quick outlet play that really benefits receivers who can get open fast and really can capitalize on a defense and put them on the back foot. And I really, really like that. So once this timing gets down between the two of them, then this is going to be a deadly combination. And I think you can see this. You could see this all over Bryce's tape from that preseason game, the little that he did play. Creating out of structure, throwing guys open in certain areas. This is exactly why they actually went after him.
I love that clip. And when you see it from both angles, you realize the rookie linebacker for the Browns, Carson Schwarzenegger, has a beat on it too.
Yeah.
And so Bryce has to throw it that quick, but he doesn't rifle it in there too fast. It's like the perfect balance of like, it got there at the right time. Tetairoa McMillan recognizes that was his bad. He needs to be more on time. But I think that explains what Bryce does well, which is a combination of intelligence and chutzpah. You know, I think he knows what he has, what he doesn't have. And I think he sees the game well. And once he got more confidence late last season, he was really going for throws. And so he's kind of combining that intelligence with a little, maybe the olds would say daring do. Yeah. You know, a little daring do.
And I think because when you talk about the daring do, the ability, right, to squeeze balls into places, there's only, right, we generally get this idea of like a Favre, right, or a Rodgers. Yeah. And it's like
a
Anthony Richardson, ball 8 feet off the ground the entire way with no dip. But with Bryce, there's this full range of arcs that are available. Yeah. It's like the back of a golf ball box where you see the full. He's a
multi-plane thrower. I love it.
And so like when you generally put that out there, it's like, oh, Bryce is a gunslinger. He's out there wheeling and dealing and moving guys around. Like people think, well, he doesn't have the size and arm strength to do that, but it just looks different. And I think Tetairoa, well, you know, as he immediately indicated, it's not just get my head around quicker, but like know that the ball is going to be in that particular place, because let's be honest, like through his career at Arizona, they were throwing him all kinds of stuff. Right? They didn't necessarily have an opportunity to get to. But I do disagree because Jourdan, I don't think you can fix these people.
Oh, the haters.
No,
true.
Because they're just, and I talked about it after, you know, the divisional weekend. These people are just going to find the next person to say can't do something. And they just go from person to person and just say, oh yeah, this guy can't do it. This guy, and once they do it, they just say it about somebody else.
This goes back to how we started this. I think you're just going to have to accept those haters are just going to keep hating, accept their flaws and stop trying to fix them.
No,
eventually.
But it's honorable that Jourdan would like to provide them with the information to allow them to fix themselves. But it's fundamentally broken.
Or it's very clever.
This explains so much about my dating life, guys. Thank you.
You're only gonna change so much. Yeah. It's like my memory loss that I started the show with. At this point, Emeka can't complain about me spacing or forgetting something. She either just has to accept it or been driven crazy or leave me. Those are like the three options that she had. Wait, I did want to get to a theory I had. Ready for that. I'm just saying those are the options.
0 to 100 real quick.
I mean, she really loves Japan. She, at some point when the kids graduate high school, you know, we'll see. I'm holding on for dear life. I have a theory, Jourdan.
Yeah.
You brought this little vehicle, Bryce Young Haters, as a way to sort of bring back how good your take was a year ago on this show, which is, I think, a good move as a takes woman.
I love that you thought that. I truly could not remember what I said on last year's show, but I'm stoked.
I'm pretty sure it was you.
I'm stoked it's all working out for Bryce Young, as it should.
I'm going to do a broad one, and I'm doing this because I think it's like the most important fixes that can happen in the NFL. Quarterbacks, that's big. Mm-hmm. But when they say, and by they I mean a new offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches, that I can fix them, talking about their offensive line, it is truly the quickest way to get from dreadful to maybe above average in the NFL is to improve your offensive line from embarrassing to average, because suddenly it brings out the best in all the other players on the offense that were being held down, and it's just exponential. So if you can get from like a bottom 5 type of offensive line to just middle of the pack, the whole world can open up for you. And so I just thought about the cases this year where that's most notable. Certainly the Texans with their new offensive coordinator, Nick Caley. Like that's him believing he can fix them. Nick Caley. Clint Kubiak, who didn't really get it done for us or the Saints totally. That's at least the vision in Seattle, taking a group that I think on paper is actually kind of talented and just making them average again when they were so bad under the Geno Smith regime, whoever was his offensive coordinator. You got Josh McDaniels, who I think's gotten slept on a little bit as like the impact that he can have on this Patriots team. I just feel like there's not a lot of Josh McDaniels conversation going on here. At least.
I think that's because it's known, right?
We've been burned before.
It's like there's only so much conversation, despite it being fundamental to our existence, about how much water you can drink. Like there's like 8 glasses a day, but I'm not saying Josh McDaniels is water. Well, after hearing myself say it, maybe I am.
I mean, last time around, at least Mac Jones was playing pretty well. Ramondre's playing well. Yeah, I'm just saying, can he bring them back to a respectable level along with the personnel? I think he can. His coaching. Can Brian Callahan maybe year 2 with his dad, Bill Callahan, with the Titans, and then the Cowboys under Brian Schottenheimer, who I think have enough talent. So those are kind of the I can fix them offensive lines. Out of those 5, I think at least 2 or 3 will pop, and those teams will improve, dramatically because of them.
Did you get a chance to watch Will Campbell's tape yet?
I watched the game. I didn't go back and watch all 22 of Will Campbell. I also listened to some good analysis of it, and I think it probably supported what they've been saying in camp, which is that he's a dog in run game, that he's going to really help open up their running game, and that in pass protection, it's up and down, and we'll see.
Just curious.
Yeah. I watched the game. I didn't go back and study him specifically. But why? Did you?
No, I mean, you don't like him.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Notably, no,
That's not true. I didn't like the pick.
I don't want to assign labor, but we could chop a Will Campbell Gregg reel, and it would
real quick
not be.
Well, he's the anti-Drake May in that I was pretty anti-Will Campbell before the Patriots took him, and then they took him, and I was very pro-Drake May before the Patriots took him, and then they took him. So then it just accentuates it.
I'm just trying to fix you a little bit, I can.
It's just
I can do it.
It's just
I
that
can do it, Patrick.
dastardly Joe Milton taking Travis Hunter away from me. Maybe Abdul Carter, but probably Travis Hunter with that Week 18 win. Just and then you get this Will Campbell who's like, in a different draft he probably would have gone 15th. Oh, great! Glad they won 4 games.
Add it to the cut up.
I have one question for you. This isn't a full I can fix them, but you to me are the Trevor Whisperer of this NFL media group supporter, because he's an option here. What do you think about it? Is he struggled enough to even make sense as an I can fix him?
No,
because there's something about him that's always been missing. Can Liam Cohen bring him that?
I think right. It's just in terms of if the Jags have that little bit of extra postseason success from a few years ago when they're like, I don't know that Trevor would be on anybody's mind in terms of being discussed as fixable. He just hasn't ascended to the levels that we've seen these other quarterbacks in the AFC go to. And then we just, for some reason, feel like there's that significant drop. Like in terms of the general perception of Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence, like in terms of success, right? I
think he's just better, though. I think you watch him on a snap-to-snap basis and he's just better.
And so
even like a Tua Tagovailoa, I would say, is just better.
Right.
In my mind.
And like to not be to those guys' level is not necessarily some huge detriment to say that Trevor needs to be fixed. I think the Jags need to be fixed.
Well, that's fair.
And that will definitely change the perception of Trevor Lawrence. But no, I don't know if he warrants fixing at this point. I think he kind of just is.
I would just like to see him, as I said, sitting one seat over last year, almost to a T. I would just really like to see him take the next step forward in developing his tools, in just developing as a player, in just playing. It's almost like you can't almost like quantify. I mean, the fumbles, sure, but like you can't almost quantify some of the. You just need to see more. You need to see more from the offense. You need to see more from the passer. You need to see more of him using his athletic gifts. You just need to see more of this. And I just think, I hope that this is the group to do it. They certainly think that this is the group to do it because they hired him. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think because you go into seasons where it's like you feel like Gabe Davis is going to be a significant contributor, and late season Brian Thomas Jr. has, I think, done enough to convince me that they're, at least offensively, will be a general shift in perception for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Facial Tootin running hard.
Little modernization of the offensive coaching staff. There's a lot, but Trevor Lawrence is kind of going back to the theme of the show. He's kind of like that great catch, that you're saying. You were talking about dating life, or just we're talking about human nature. Like, how much can you change? And great catch checks every single box. Like a lot of
good on paper,
and there's nothing wrong either.
Well, yeah,
it's just that you're just missing something. You're not sure what it is. I'm not sure either.
Yeah, it's wins. It's perception. Like
no, I think it's more.
The career will continue. Sean McVay will trade a first-round pick, and he'll come to the Rams and win a Super Bowl. Like I think like
okay.
The parallels may make sense.
That could be it, and he obviously is getting burned a little bit from being a number 1 overall draft pick. But I do think 5 years in, the fact that I think the average person, even someone that you were admitting maybe he's behind, if he's a little like less than average when you're lining up the 32 quarterbacks, that's not where you want to be.
Oh, less than average.
I think when you line him up, he's below 16, at least right now.
Whew.
All right, let's just acknowledge that we fixed everyone.
I got one. All right,
one last. I can fix it.
You're talking about people who are just searching for that special something, to like wake them up in the morning, to make them feel a little bit more alive than they previously have felt. And maybe they're a little bit broken. And that person, finding that person perhaps would fix them, would heal parts of themselves they thought had long since deteriorated into the ether. So I'm talking about Jaxson Dart potentially fixing Brian Daboll.
Oh, interesting.
I want to play the sound of Brian Daboll talking about Jaxson Dart's performance in the Giants' first preseason game for your consideration.
It's about what I thought he would do. Efficient, effective, aggressive, confident in the pocket. Some stuff we can work on, but he's doing good. Look, there's things he can be better at, but we missed some opportunities on third down, some drops that would even been better for him and for us. But he's a confident young player. He's improved since he's been here. Still got a long way to go. But I enjoy working with him. I like his demeanor on the sideline. Sees the game well. Again, not that we're getting, we got a couple blitzes and things like that, but I'm glad he's here.
Hey.
So,
ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Glad he's with us.
You might not think that this man sounds healed quite yet. In fact, he tried to talk himself out of it a few times, verbally and audibly, in that press conference, where he would say something nice and then pull it back just a little. Am I committing too hard? Am I too into this guy? And I'll tell you what, he used the word enjoy. I can count on one hand the number of times I have heard Brian Daboll use the word enjoy while wearing Giants logo. And he also was saying he's glad he's here. He likes his demeanor. And I swear he had a little twinkle in his eye as he talked.
I can see it. I can see it. I also saw, and for Coach Daboll, for everybody out there with short hair, you might need to rock the sunscreen, dog, on the top.
Oh, yeah.
Or get a hat. I saw some concerning levels at the top there, and it's like we gotta make sure that the top needs the sunscreen.
Oh, he woke up uncomfortable the next day. Yeah. Why is that a lesson he's still learning? That does make you a little worried about his ability to fix anyone if he hasn't fixed that situation yet.
Once he heals, the aloe vera comes out.
Okay.
But you can hear, because there is, and I know a lot of people attributed it to certain media contingencies in New Jersey because it's like, oh, they're hard on everybody, but it's like, no, like Coach Daboll sometimes doesn't seem like he's enjoying the conversations he has, and talking about Jaxson Dart. It sounds.
You know what he saw? He saw a life raft. He saw a potential future for his NFL career on the same day that he gave Josh Allen a big hug.
And possibly burned his face off.
And possibly burned his face off. He thought, okay, maybe this guy isn't going to be Josh Allen, but maybe he's gonna continue my head coaching career. And I would not be surprised to see Jaxson Dart starting football games for the New York Giants sooner than later. But that's for another show. This was a beauty. As always, we did it.
We made it.
I think we fixed them. We didn't fix them, but we correctly identified the fixing that will be going on. So what are the things that you got to work on, Patrick?
The things that I have to work on?
Yeah.
Finishing tasks that need to be done, and telling the people, like the people I'm sitting with here, the people in there, the people listening, that I appreciate them.
Wow.
Care about them.
You do that, I think.
Well, I need to do it more because I love doing this with you guys.
Appreciate that. We got to end on that. Let's play the music. That was beautiful. Fun day.
Why
we will
are
be
you
back.
the only one he asked? What do you need to work on, Pat?
No, we need more time for you. Later. We'll be back. Jourdan, you're going to tell me about some joint practices in Minnesota.
Hell yeah.
Like when we fixed everyone, football's back.